Previously on episode 1.
I feel really nervous. My throat also hurts. Having to clear it a lot. That shocks me every single time. It's weird to be able to breathe. There's like this little wheeze, the highest number I've ever got. CF life, incontinence. I just don't want a cough anymore.
Alright, let's talk about Kaftrio 3 months on. I'm going to share with you the good, the strange and the downright shocking. But first, let me take you back to day 14.
Day 14, what can I say? Still experiencing this wheeze. It's what it feels like it's on the, what's this? Left, right. Still getting a lot of cracklies, especially when I do the lung function. Have I gained weight? No, I've lost it. Never been this low in weight. Definitely not coughing as much as I used to, but it's still there. I'm not really bringing much stuff up. Oh, other than burps. No, I'm not really bringing much stuff up anymore. To be honest, I haven't really tried, whereas before it just sort of came up and I had to get it out. I'm still getting a lot of crackles. It's more crackly than it is when I would normally do it without Kaftrio. Again, I am still wheezing. I'm still having this little squeaky wheeze. It's just weird. I don't know what it is.
It's probably just CF, mate.
I have finished all 4 weeks of Kaftrio. I'm pretty mentally sensitive today, so I don't know how much talking I'm gonna do before the waterworks start. So, it didn't last long, did it? Can you hear the crackles? Started at 70, didn't it? Today it's 76. It's weird, like my weight is just gone down. I just feel I can lose weight easier on Kaftrio. Like if I'm doing exercise, I feel like I tone down quicker. For the last couple of weeks, my sinuses have just been dripping non-stop down the back of my throat. There's no pain or anything, it's just there, it's just made itself at home, and I'm like, okay, thanks. In terms of running, I haven't been that consistent with it recently, but I still managed to run for 5 minutes. I never ever thought I could run for 5 minutes, that's crazy. I don't use an inhaler anymore, other than to do my hypertonic and my Toby pod haler. Very rarely do I get tight chested now. 79%. So it's about a 10% increase. I can't see.
I just want to preface again that it's not necessarily about the lung function numbers. Although yes, it is a really good way of measuring how your lungs are coping. For me personally, it's your overall well-being. So I try my best not to focus too much attention on the numbers because I am in fact a human. But saying that, I will share my most recent lung function numbers with you in just a minute. I feel like Kaftrio has made a difference to my energy levels because some days I wake up and I'm like, what? And then other days I'm just exhausted. But one thing I can definitely say is that I no longer get totally exhausted in the afternoon. I used to have a real dip in energy about mid-afternoon. The mid-afternoon slump, you know what I'm talking about. However, we are still in a pandemic, I am still shielding, and yes, I do spend about 99.9999999% of the time at home. Therefore, I do feel like this is a little bit of an inaccurate way to compare to my usual life. It's slightly biased, right? Because I'm not exerting the energy that I used to, and I won't know that until things go back to normal. Whatever normal is, who knows nowadays. So yes, my energy levels have gone up, and yes, that could be because I'm not exerting energy like I once was. Does that make sense? Now this has been a game changer for me. Do you remember last week when I said this?
I just don't want a cough anymore.
I rarely get tight, I rarely cough. Actually, I think I cough more when something goes down the wrong hole than coughing because of CF. Which is the first time in my life. I feel so relieved because, like I said, coughing anxiety has taken such a huge toll on my life, but that's for another video. And the big test actually came in December when I proper laughed. It's like, you know when someone tickles you and you go into like uncontrollable laughter? It was like that, and I did not go into a coughing fit. I did not go into a 10 decibel coughing fit. I don't know if 10 decibels is high, but we're going with it. I know I rarely get anything up nowadays, but to be fair, I never really try, and it was never usual for me to get anything up anyway. So, and I'm still unsure whether I have asthma or not, because even now in a like hot environment, I struggle to breathe all the way in. I don't know if that's an asthma thing. If anyone knows, let me know, because I would like to know. No worries. Okay, so this is a trigger warning for anyone who struggles with your weight. Skip ahead here. Let's talk about that. So I have never had trouble gaining weight, and I know a lot of people have gained weight on Kaftrio, but in actual fact, I've lost weight. And weirdly, I've actually dropped to the lowest that I've been, like, since I can remember.
So I've started to get a really unhealthy relationship with the scales, and I started getting to a point where I started losing weight. And I went from 54 and then down to 53 and then down to 52 kilograms, sorry. And I was like, well, actually, I quite like being down here. And if it's gone up, I'm like, no. If it's gone down, I'm like, yes. See what I mean? Unhealthy relationship with weight. So if I am to gain weight, then I would like to do it out of muscle. And I think it's a really good thing that I'm aware of it, so I can try and combat it.
And I'm actually on this trial at the moment called Project Breathe, where you input all of your data into an app. So let me show you this clip here. So in the Project Breathe app, it actually gives you a graph of your lung function. Now I've gone back to the 6th of March to the 6th of June 2020. And what you can actually do is press this little weight scales down here, and that shows your lung function alongside your weight. Now, what they say is that your lung function kind of correlates with your weight. Not perfect every single time, but it kind of correlates with it. So if your weight goes down, then it's likely that your lung function could go down as well. And if your weight goes up, then it's likely your lung function could go up, etc. Obviously, it's not in perfect correlation, but this graph kind of does show that pattern. And if we go to the next couple of months, again, you can kind of see a similar pattern here. Now watch what happens when I start Kaftrio. I don't know about you, but I kind of find that shocking, because in my whole 26 years of living with cystic fibrosis, I've never ever experienced that separation before from my lung function and my weight. Maybe you have, but that has definitely never happened to me before. So I just wanted to share that with you because I thought that was pretty interesting. So in terms of my appetite, the only thing that I've changed is I used to eat a full sandwich. Now I can only eat half a sandwich. And the reason for that is I realized that I actually don't need to eat the second half. I'd just be eating it for the sake of eating it. So I usually just have a half a sandwich and something like a mini roll or a breakfast bar on the side. Quite often now I do feel sick when I eat, but that could just be an anxiety thing. I don't know. But I do get fuller and sicker quicker. Faster, fuller, sicker, quicker. That is a throwback and a half. Jesus. Now, I have reactive hypoglycemia, which is different to CF-related diabetes, and I actually noticed that in the Kaftrio booklet, one of the side effects was hypoglycemia, and I have definitely got more hypos than I usually would, and I actually think I've become quite sensitive to sugar, because if I have something like a donut, I will drop. If I have a mince pie, I will drop, and last night I had a tiny little piece of flapjack and I dropped, and it was 11:30 at night. Look where we are. Cool. It could just be a coincidence, but I'm having to make sure now that I'm aware of what I'm eating, something that's not too high in sugar, or if it is high in sugar, then I have to eat something around about an hour later so I don't just suddenly drop. So I've been doing Couch to 5k on and off since July, and admittedly I kept repeating the same weeks over and over again just so I could get used to that length of time running before moving on to the next week, if that makes sense. So I was doing week 3 for ages, and then in December I moved on to week 4, which was 3 minutes of running, 90-second walk, 5 minutes of running, 90-second walk, and I genuinely thought I was gonna stack it. I thought I was gonna pass out. Probably should have stopped, but that's for another time. I kept persisting with it, and only a couple of weeks ago I moved on to week 5, which is 8 minutes of running twice. I just did 8 freaking minutes. I never thought I could do that, but wait, it doesn't stop there, because only yesterday did I run for 20 minutes straight. 20 minutes. I never thought that possible was number. I can't believe that. Yay. What? Paula Radcliffe. Woo! My lungs were absolutely on fire, but I did it. I never ever thought I would be able to run for 20 minutes straight. And I still feel like I am able to gain muscle a lot easier on Kaftrio, because like I said, back in the summer, I was consistently doing Couch to 5k and I would not even notice anything. But now, your girl's got some muscle. I mean, Not much, but it's there, okay? I actually cut this out of last week's video, but at the beginning, I sweated so much on Kaftrio, like it was real bad, like a turkey in an oven. But I'm relieved now to say that it's not as bad as when I first started. Now I know some women who start Kaftrio experience no periods, light periods, late periods, heavy AF periods. The first period after Kaftrio, I was delayed for about a week, which is quite unusual for me, and I was pretty sure that I wasn't pregnant. Because you know.
It's been 84 years.
But when I did get it, it was heavy as joy to be a woman. After that first delay, it's pretty much been normal since. But my sinuses were awful when I started Kaftrio, and now I definitely don't get the pain that I usually would. Although I am still getting this post-nasal drip, and I can even feel it now, and it's been consistent for a couple of weeks. It's just hanging around at the back of my throat, just like, yeah, I'm chill here, I'm chill. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And the thirst, oh my god, I am so thirsty.
84 years.
I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but my throat gets really dry really quickly now. You know what's been a theme throughout these videos? That's right, crackles. So crackling, crackles, man. You will be pleased to know that yes, I still get crackles when I do the lung function. Oh, and that weird wheeze I got continued consistently until about January, and it was always in my lower right lung, which if you saw the last episode, that's where I had the resistance at the beginning. So I don't really know what's happening down there because it still crops up every now and again, and it's just like, and I'm like, hello, you got something to say? You say it in my face! With my lung function, I started at 70%. Now I am usually high 70s, low 80s. So between 79 and 82, which is crazy to be consistently in that bracket. And I know people base this on how much your lung function has improved. And I understand it, I really do, because I certainly did and I still do sometimes. But I understand and I accept that it is more about your overall well-being. Like I say, I'm not a number. Or am I? Did you feel the crackles again? Crackles! Should we just do a lung function now? Let's just do one now. 2.75, which is 81%. 11% is incredible. To be up in the 80s is just unreal. I am unbelievably grateful that I have not experienced any major side effects, and I know that side effects can creep in over time, and that thought used to terrify me, but now I live alongside that thought rather than in it, if that makes sense. The only expectation that I came into Kaftrio was to stop coughing, and the fact that I have stopped coughing is mind-blowing to me. Of course, we will see what happens when the pollen count rises and the summer comes along, but for now, I'm feeling very, very grateful for my physical health. And that's it for episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed these last few episodes. Thank you so much for watching and supporting and commenting. I really appreciate the feedback. And of course, I will see you next Wednesday. Alright, let's talk about Kaftrio 3 months later. Wow, that just came out. Okay, keep rolling with it.